Jai Sri everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Vihangam Yoga Global Online Forum. My name's Abhinav, and once again, I'm really excited to be joining you from Sydney, Australia. And I know there's so many of you all over the world who we have the privilege of connecting with every week. And as your host, I'm really excited to bring another topic to you over the next few weeks with another very distinguished speaker from the Vihangam Yoga community. You know, for the next few weeks, what we want to look at in the Vihangam Yoga Global Online Forum is this idea of forming meaningful relationships. In life, we often find that there's certain environments where we feel very comfortable, certain environments which may be newer to us, or maybe they're not new, but there's not as much comfort. And when we look at it, and we look at it very closely, usually a lot of it is to do with the people who we are surrounded by in that environment. And it brings up a very important concept which we all learn through life of this word called relationships or connections. When I say the word relationships and connections, different kinds of words will come to your mind. Friends, family, acquaintances, colleagues. But in short, it's another human being who is similar to you in certain ways, or maybe not similar to you at all, but there's a shared connection between the two of you. And it's meaningful. It's something which gives you happiness in life. But often we find that whole reaching that point of forming a meaningful relationship with someone where there is an exchange, a learning, some kind of connection, some kind of deeper connection, can be a very interesting process where it could take a number of years. For some, it can take a number of minutes, and there seems to be a very big importance to it in life, but we don't often get the chance to think about it. You know, how do you form these meaningful relationships? One of the beautiful things about spirituality and about Vihangam Yoga is that it is not just a matter of, meditating and being away from the world. The greatest saints we have seen in all of history have formed meaningful connections with everyone around them. And it seems to be a quality which the masters of spirituality have deep within them and always express to the world. So today what we want to dig into is how does spirituality, how does Vihangam Yoga specifically, help you form more meaningful relationships in life? This could be a new relationship, this could be an existing one that you're struggling with. We'll talk through some few different kinds of scenarios and different kinds of relationships, and hopefully you'll be able to take something from this conversation. So I'm really excited to introduce to you all a speaker who's joined us multiple times on this platform, Shri Subhash Chanrda, who is from Singapore. Subhash is an actuary by profession and a director in a multinational company handling a number of Asia-Pacific countries. He's, most importantly and most prominently, as we've seen on this platform, he is deeply involved with Vihangam Yoga, not only as its philosophy, but also as a trainer and a teacher of the technique in Singapore. And he's one of the founding members of Vihangam Yoga Singapore. So Subhash, I hope you can hear me clearly, and I want to welcome you to this conversation.
Thank you, Abhinavji. I can hear you very well. Thank you. I'm very happy, and it's my pleasure to be with you here on this forum. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's actually the first time that we've connected this year, so a happy new year to you as well. I know that in this time there's a lot of things going on, so we hope that everything's going well for you. So Subhash, let's look at this idea of meaningful relationships a bit. So obviously everyone has a different idea of what a meaningful relationship is. To some people it could be that you really enjoy someone's company. For some it can be that you're learning a lot from someone. I guess for you personally, how do you define a meaningful relationship or identify the more meaningful relationships that you really treasure in your own life?
Thank you, Avinaji. And of course, wish you also a very happy new year. When we talk about relationship, in my opinion, relationship has a deeper meaning. Most of the time, we consider relationship as a bonding with one person with another. But in my opinion, what I see relationship as in a much more different way. I think when I especially suppose I'm talking about my relationship with my father, relationship with my son, relationship with my friends, relationship with my wife, relationship with my colleagues, relationship with my guru bhais, guru bahan, and everyone, wherever I see, the dimensions are different because everyone is different. But ultimately, I'm talking about my relationship with all those people. I'm the same, but maybe my activities, my behavior, my further actions may vary depending on the person in front of me. And that's how we define that relationship. But what I see is a relationship is not about outside. A relationship is coming from within. As you rightly mentioned during the initial time, that whenever we are talking about a relationship, whenever we are talking about a connection, whenever we are talking about communication, it has a specific vibe. And those vibes actually are matching with each other. And on that basis only, we define whether I'm comfortable with that particular person or not. If the vibes which are coming from one particular person doesn't match with my vibes or my thinking or my way, probably I will not feel comfortable. But the important thing here is we all are conscious human. We have from inside similar characteristics, but the variety is so much that at one particular time, another vibe will match with my vibe or not. That may be a question mark. And that's how, on that basis, we define my relationship is good with this person, my relationship is good with another person, my relationship is not good with that person. So, overall, I think when we talk about a relationship, in my opinion, a relationship is about connection between the people, and that connectivity comes from the rays or the conscious rays from within, and that I can say it's the rays of the soul. Many times, probably you might have heard, seen, experienced that we are very easily get connected to a very strange person you have met for the first time. But it may happen that you have been meeting one person on a very regular basis, but still that connection has not yet happened. How does that happen? It happens on the similar characteristics, and characteristics are nothing but the properties of the human, the person itself, the soul itself. At one time, something is more prominent. At another time, something else is prominent. And that's how in spirituality also we have defined three terminologies, Sat, Raj, and Tam. You might have heard about this, you all know. So which one is at what time more prominent, most of the things will define on that basis. When I see my relationship with someone, I'm very cautious because we have seen in our day-to-day life, creating a relationship it may be easy, but maintaining a relationship is very, very difficult. Why? Because at one time when we create a relationship or a relationship is created, it has happened probably, but maintaining it needs more and more conscious nature. And that's where I try to put my effort to be more and more conscious to maintain my relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And especially I think your point on vibes, I think that's something which all of us listeners can really empathize with, because the example you gave is so relatable, where you meet so many, maybe you're at an event and you meet different kinds of people, but even though you might be able to table with a group of 10 people who are all new to you, you connect with one of them on a deeper level than others, perhaps. And that's that whole idea that you just said of vibes, and then taking it further, as you said, you have to be very aware of how much time and energy you need to spend. So as a follow-up to that, we all have this experience in our personal life. Many of us do, especially in communities where family is a very big part of life. That especially in societies and cultures where extended family is a very important part of life as well. You meet different people from your family where the vibe might be quite different, but because you're in a family environment, you want to develop that relationship with that person because they are a member of your family. So in moments where we notice that the vibe is quite different, but the context is of such a nature that we really need to put effort into forming that relationship, then what should we do in that scenario when it's very clear to us that there's two completely different people? I am very different and the person in front of me is very different, but I need to form this relationship for one reason or another. What do the lessons of spirituality have for us here?
So I think when we talk about a relationship in our family, be it a nuclear family or even extended family, I think we have to understand a few things very clearly. Sometimes when our relationship established on its own, doesn't matter whether in the family or outside family with friends or whoever, it happened automatically fine. But when we talk about family, there are certain few things which we need to be careful about. First, we have to decide and understand, in fact, and many people I think don't understand this very clearly, but we have to understand this. Are we going to be a part of the family for a longer time or not? Even if not, what we want out of it. So as for example, suppose there is a son in a family. Of course, he has father, he has mother, he has siblings as well. Or probably if we take some extended family members, his uncle, his grandfather, grandmother, and suppose 10, 15 people are there. It may be possible in longer family, in big family. It may be possible that that guy does not like few of the people. And what are the reasons for not liking it? The reasons could be the behavior, the activity. That doesn't mean that behavior and activity are not appropriate. Those are probably not appropriate for this person. Maybe because of age, maybe because of his outer information when he's going meeting other people outside the house, or maybe his thinking as well, and maybe the person himself is very different. But the point is, what we want from ourselves. I think, in my opinion, if I see my family or even some other people's family in a passive way, what I notice is the love is one of the important things to create and maintain the relationship. Without that, it is very difficult. It is almost impossible to sustain for a longer time period. For some time period, maybe it is possible. But for longer time period, there has to have a reason to sustain it. Love is something like every time, suppose there is one person, one man, one boy who fall in love with a girl, what does it happen? First, he's not able to control his emotions. That is one thing. The second thing, after some time point, his feelings are very different. His feelings are not about taking something from the person. His feeling is more about giving to that person. So either it may be possible this is in the form of sacrifice or in the form of giving happiness to the person or helping that person in difficult situation or otherwise also fulfilling his or her desire completely as well. So that's the meaning of when a person falls in love with another one. It doesn't matter family member or outside member. But the point is, if we are in a position that we are not asking or desiring or demanding something from that person. Rather, we are giving back or giving something to that person, either in terms of, even if we have to sacrifice, it's okay. But that's the meaning of the loved one. For them, we can do anything. And from here onward, I think the relationship starts. Many times, from my own personal experience also, I have seen, suppose there is a person in the family who doesn't like you, maybe one reason or another. But what I want, whether I want to create a good relationship with the person, be in the family or even outside, that's my choice. If I'm choosing yes, then I'm sure it's very easy to do. And there are two things to do that silently. Number one, do the service to the person. What is the meaning of doing service? Doing service means selfless service. Don't think any outcome out of it. Just serve the person. Seva is very important. That doesn't mean that the person has to be elder than you. It can be of same age. It can be younger than you also. But the seva wins a person. And the second thing is the love. If we love a person, if we have an intention to have a positive activity, positive thought about a person, and if we're providing our service to that person silently, I'm telling you from my own experience that no one can hate you, and everyone will love you, and everyone will maintain the relationship as well. It's not just you, that person will also maintain the relationship. So when we talk about family members, there are many things which we need to be focused on. Sometimes some of our family members let it go. Okay, fine. He's my son. He's my father. Okay, fine. It's okay. It's okay to let it go in that way. We are not very, very rigid, or we are not very, very strict for few things. We say, okay, let it go. Letting something go is very important. And that happens to those whom we love, to whom we like, and we want to maintain our relationship. But of course, there are certain things in families which we should not tolerate. Sometimes I tolerate, because especially with the kids or young, where they are trying to take disadvantage of the loved ones. But yes, there are certain ways in which I think the relationship can be maintained to its highest peak. But all these depend on individual's choice, and the most importantly, the way of communication. I want to give a very simple example here. Suppose there is one person in the family who likes you in a way, but probably you don't. Any reason could be. And if suppose your activity in front of many people for that particular person is very fine, means your body language is very positive, your tone is very positive, your choice of words are also very positive, but just your eyes are different. Your eyes are different. We already know that eyes, without speaking anything, can say a lot many things. So my body is very positive, my sound is very positive, my tone is very positive, but my eyes are saying something else. The movement of this eye can create a lot of disturbance to that person who is watching me. So I think when we talk about relationship, we have to be honest. We have to be honest, not from outside, but also from within. And I think it is very easy to do, provided we strengthen ourselves to maintain it. Avilaji.
Gee, yes, absolutely. And that example you gave is so it's so clear. When you are in amongst a group of people who perhaps have known each other for a long time, and you can kind of pick up when certain people maybe don't get along as much, even if they're talking to all the people they do get along with, and they turn to the person they don't get along with, and there is a difference that's very clear. So in these scenarios where perhaps you don't one of the things, I guess my question that I'm trying to get to here is one of the things that really makes relationships unhealthy over time is what you just mentioned, which is a lack of honesty. You know, if you're not happy with someone or if they've done something that's hurt you, you know, even though you may have formed that relationship many years ago and it's been healthy for many, many years, when it becomes strained and when something happens, you know, everyone reacts differently. But, you know, we often see that, you know, it can be hard to be completely honest with someone you really care about because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But then you start treating them differently and things just kind of spiral out of control within you, and you start, you know, completely ignoring them, or, you know, different things happen. So if you are in a, you know, in a relationship with someone, whether it be a, you know, a member of your family, let's say, and, you know, you are very close, but something happens, how should you approach that to keep that connection healthy and keep it, you know, in a good position?
Yeah. So this all depends on person to person, in fact. It has happened many times with many of us, and in fact, everyone, that even if we have a very good relationship with someone, but something may happen so that it just makes a question mark on the relationship itself, which is fine. I think, you know, sometimes it has been said between a husband and wife, if you are not fighting with each other, that means for a long time, that means there is something wrong. So that means sometimes few things comes to us as a testing phase also, that whether we are just taking everything as granted or we have to refine ourselves. So what I see anytime under any relationship with anyone, when certain challenging situation comes to me especially, then I give a pause. First of all, I just give a pause. Hold on. What is happening? And I try to revise things and in fact recall things, revamp things to understand, okay, where I am, where we are. Are we in the right direction, right position, right situation? If yes, why this has happened? Why it has happened? What is the reason? What is the cause? Is it just me or probably the person in front of me also? If the person in front of me, let me know what exactly it is. Let me understand without asking, in fact, without asking that person. It's me. My job is to understand what has happened. And I have to be very, very calm. Very calm. I don't have to be disturbed. Here we will talk some more thing also, that when I'm saying I have to be calm, many people say that, oh, I'm a very calm person. I don't get disturbed with different challenging situations in front of me. But saying is something else. And in reality, when the situation comes, what happens inside is something else. For that, I think we need to, as I mentioned, we need to strengthen ourselves. Strengthening doesn't mean just thinking. Strengthening means strengthening from inside. And I think really Vihangam Yoga meditation helps us, and it has helped me a lot to keep myself as calm as possible. We'll talk about this maybe after some time. But when we are talking about a problem, a situation, a challenging situation, I try to give a pause, be calm, and understand the situation in front of me, what exactly it is. Is it something which has happened just ad hoc, or there is something which has been coming since quite some time, and today suddenly it has burst out in one way or another? First, all those analysis I will do on my own, because it's my relationship. It's my responsibility also towards myself to understand what has happened. But again, I'm repeating, I will be as calm as possible, because I am disturbed, then I will not be able to see the complete picture. So when I try to see what has happened in that situation, definitely the cause will pop out automatically what exactly it is. With that, it may be possible that the reason could be me, myself. Maybe there have been some my behaviors or my activity which the person may have not liked, but it has let it go. Okay, fine, let it go. That person might have done that. But probably it would have been in a more repetitive way, and something has happened, and that's how it came in the front at one time from that person's side. So I think during those situations, we need to be as communicable as possible. What happens most of the time when some problem comes, some challenging, difficult situation comes, many people start talking to themselves only. And as you know very well, Abhinavji, that when we start talking to ourselves, we don't recall or we don't remember what we have talked to ourselves and what we have talked to the person in front, because we are so much engrossed into that discussion with self that we forget. And many times what happens is what we talk with ourselves, we presume at one time, oh, I have talked to that person also in a similar way, but that is not true. So what happens is more communication gap will start happening. So I always suggest myself that if at any one time some communication gap is happening, some difficult situation is happening with one person or another in the family or outside, speak about it immediately. Because that person is your loved one. You probably is also a loved one for that person. If we are creating more and more gap, if we are creating more and more difficult situation, it would never be rectified. It will be as it is. So I think the first step what I do is to have a communication with that person. The first step, coming out from that comfort zone, not talking to myself, but come out and have a discussion or ask even simple word, what happened? Is there something which I can do for you? What is that? Did I do something which you did not like or something like? So many times what happens is, I'm giving you one simple example. Suppose there is one situation, one person, the loved one is there and I'm also there. And there is something, a truth, which is there, which is not in favor of that person, my loved one, right? But it is a truth. And I told that truth in front of many people. And the loved one may not like it. She or he may come later on asking, oh, why did you say that? That was an insulting thing for me. Had it not be just as it is, why you need to tell that? But you or me, myself, I'm thinking, oh, I have to tell the truth. How can I not tell the truth? I am on my own philosophy. I am on my own basis, discipline. I must tell the truth. But I forgot probably one thing. The judgment is very important. I think you know already at one place, it has been mentioned in Vedas also and some other scriptures also that we must tell the truth. True. We must tell the truth. We don't tell lie, but we should not tell a truth in a way that it hurts anyone. And similarly, we should not tell a lie that it creates a wrong impression and makes happy the other person. So just saying truth and not saying truth is not the only thing. We have to see the surrounding as well, whether that truth should be said at this place or not. What will be the action reaction, how it is going to impact everyone. Just out of my habit, I am a truthworthy person. I have to speak a truth. I will tell this truth. That's it. I don't bother. I don't care about what happens out of that. It's not my job. That's not the correct thing. As far as we are talking about a relationship, not saying truth in such a way that it hurts someone, I think it's fine. And not saying a lie so that it makes a wrong impression with a wrong happiness, that must be practiced. So I think this is just a simple example about telling a truth. So I think when we try to maintain our relationship in a difficult situation, it has to be actful. We have to take a step. We have to come out from our comfort zone before it becomes a bigger problem. Abhinavji.
Yes, absolutely. So folks, that's all we've got for today on the Vihangam Yog Global Online Forum. Near the end there, we really reached what I would say is probably one of the more tricky balances we all run into when we consider some of our relationships in life. Being able to balance when to tell the truth in, let's say, a more direct way, and when to tell the truth in a more subtle, step-by-step manner is something we all slowly become more accustomed to over time. And the reason why, as Subhash said, it's so important is because, especially if you look at the principles of spirituality, the ultimate aim of any relationship, whether it's between two disciples or whether it's between a guru and a disciple, it's always self-improvement and growth. And so layering that spiritual principle and way of living into your relationships, it can be difficult because sometimes you need to help someone see why the way they're leading their life maybe is not helping them achieve their own goals. So that's just one of many things which Subhash very graciously took us through this week. I hope you all have some time to reflect on this in the coming week. And that concludes session 1 of 3 of this small series on forming meaningful relationships based upon a spiritual way of living. So Jai Sudev, I hope you all take care and see you next week right at the same time.
सदा फल शांतिमय, शांति शांति सुख शांति।